New details now surrounding accusations that retired NFL quarterback Brett Favre used welfare funds to help build a new volleyball stadium at his alma mater, the University of Southern Mississippi, where his daughter played the sport. A former director of Mississippi's welfare agency, John Davis, has now pleaded guilty to federal and state charges that he conspired to misspend tens of millions of those welfare funds meant for the poorest families in what is the poorest state in the U.S. Text messages in a state court filing have shown Davis, Favre, and former Mississippi Governor Phil Bryant and others worked together to help secure millions in state money to build that stadium, which was a pet project of the former Super Bowl champion. Joining me now here is ABC News contributor and host of the Law and Crime Network, Brian Buckmar. Brian, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure, Gio.
So listen, one of those text messages from 2017 published by Mississippi Today, let's go ahead and show that to you. It shows that Brett Favre asked the head of a nonprofit handling welfare funds, quote, "If you were to pay me, is there any way that the media could find out where it came from and how much?" So given the evidence in the scandal, could Favre end up facing charges?
So we haven't gotten all of the evidence just yet, but what we see so far, there's a potential for charges. What I think the DOJ is going to do is probably take the people who have already pled guilty, that being Nancy New, who pled guilty last in April, and as you said, John Davis, who just pled guilty. We have the text messages, but we don't have the conversations behind closed doors. John Davis has already said he's going to cooperate. With more information, I think it may be a strong case against Brett Favre, and they may actually press forward, but right now it's still a bit of a question mark.
So what does that legal defense for Favre even look like in a case like this, Brian?
It's difficult, but I think his attorney, Bud Holmes, is already kind of putting it out there. Like, if you and I said, hey, ABC, if you're going to pay us, I don't really want the public to know, that seems fishy. But I think what he's putting forward is Brett Favre is this guy that, by all accounts, made about $138 million just playing football. We're not talking about ads and things like that. And maybe, if I was his defense attorney, I'd put it like, he wants to be a humble guy. He doesn't want to show that he's getting money elsewhere to pay for this pet project that inevitably helps his daughter. And I think that's the defense, but how laughable or how true that is going to really measure up to the rest of the evidence that we're going to probably hear in the next couple of months, and we'll see how well that defense pans out.
So let's go through some of the details here. That former welfare director, he's received a 90-year sentence with 58 of those suspended, 32 to serve on state charges. The judge has also put him on house arrest until his federal sentencing. So what do you make of his punishment in this case?
I think it's appropriate. I mean, in the feds, he can look up to getting 15 years. And the reason why I say it's appropriate is we've heard it anywhere from Shannon Sharp to anyone else who's commenting on this. When you see an individual who steals 40, 50, maybe $500 from the welfare, the government goes after them very hard. Here's a person who's, as you said, is stealing from the poorest of the poor. Mississippi is the poorest state in the union. And the temporary assistance of needy families, that's the fund that they're given every year, $86 million, 77 of those misappropriated. And these people are dishing it out for all of these lavish lifestyles when they actually have the money to do so. I think the penalty needs to be serious, because this cannot be a concept or a scheme that continues, because it's affecting us as taxpayers and, of course, the people who need it the most.
And what about the governor?
The governor, to your point, Phil Bryant, these text messages are damaging because it's already connecting John Davis and Nancy New, who are already guilty. And now you've got the former governor, Phil Bryant, and Brett Favre looking on the outside saying, hey, I'm involved in these text messages as well. And I think they can get pulled in because it's a pipeline from governor to director of a nonprofit to a former NFL Hall of Famer. I think the whole pipeline needs to be reviewed.
All right, Brian Buckmar, thank you so much for joining us. We'll watch for you on the Law and Crime Network, my friend. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.